Hello and welcome to another edition of How to Chainsaw Carve with me, Hieronymus Hogsap. This time we're going to be learning how to carve a wooden owl. Unfortunately, we've run into a few technical difficulties along the way. Some of you will remember my trusty wood carving goon, Dust Monkey, and those of you that do will have no surprise that he has a violent and irrational fear of all technology. He won't even wear the new camera that I've got for him. Come here you, let me pop this on your head. No, hold still, come on. Which brings me to the sponsor of this episode, Comrade Gregor's greasy ex-Soviet surprise spy supplies. For the small price of one human kidney and a single woman's shoe, well worn, Comrade Gregor will implant any employee or political opponent in their sleep with the latest ex-Soviet spy camera device, so you can watch their every move. Good job, Greg.
Camera engage. Shovel more coal onto the internet and set phasers to wonder. Welcome to the 21st century, YouTubers, as we set sail aboard the nano camera lodged in Dust Monkey's basal ganglia and watch as he makes an owl. Here you'll see our log from a bird's eye view and from a side view. The first thing we want to do is carve a roughly diamond shape, also known as a hexagon, to just off the centre of our log. One point of our roughly hexagonian shape will be the beak or bird trunk of our owl. Make sure that this is in the direction you wish your bird to be facing. Here we see our trusty Dust Monkey once more, this time carving his roughly hexagonological shape into the log face. As you can see, he's cut the head a bit off-centre to create the owl body. Next up, we're going to cut some space for the owl's feet. If you've watched our previous video and did your mushroom making homework, then this technique should be familiar to you. If you haven't watched the last video, then what we're going to do is make two cuts meet up and remove the wood that it frees. And here he goes, making the first cut. And as the famous Michael Jackson song says, the first cut is always the deepest. Ironically, in this case, the second cut is actually deeper. But as long as the two meet, we know that everything is going to be okay. As you can see in this diagram, our next cuts will give our owl a distinctively owlier appearance. The cuts we will be making free up the feet and make the bottom of our owl. Now we see Dust Monkey marking out the feet. The purpose of this is to leave two blocks of wood that will eventually become the feet themselves. And here we see him begin to make the cuts needed to remove the excess wood from around our owl's feet. The last cut in this process will free the tail of our owl from its base. Finally, by connecting the cuts we made earlier, we free up this bit of wood, and there we have the feet. The next cuts we will make help with the future shaping of the owl by freeing up his talons and tail. Our next cuts will make the tail of the owl. A lot of owl designs do not have a tail and are all wing. If that's what you're into, then you can leave this step out. And here he is, Dust Monkey, making yet another cut, this time to separate the tail from the wing. And then making another cut, connecting it to the existing one to shape the tail, just like we did with the mushrooms. Now our owl has his tail, we need to give him some wings. Simply make a line using the saw to mark the wings out. Let's watch our dust monkey do that now. Now we must add detail to the wings. There are many designs to represent feathers and bird wings. Have a look around and experiment with a few to find your favourite. In this case, however, Dust Monkey will show you a design which starts by cutting 3 semicircles into the wing. Notice how Dust Monkey graduates these semicircles in height and length in order to achieve a smoother shape. This will give the finished owl a more natural texture and look. The next stage is to smooth off any jagged edges on the owl's head and body, and then to begin cutting out the owl's face. To make the face, Dust Monkey will use the saw like a scoop to remove some of the wood from around the beak peak which we left at the beginning, leaving a triangle to represent the beak itself. The end goal of this is to leave a hollowed out heart shape around the beak. Now Dust Monkey is cutting in 2 circles to represent the eyes of the owl. Watch how he uses the natural curve on the tip of the carving bar to do this. Try to think of it as cutting 4 half circles rather than 2 big circles. We now have our basic owl shape. He has a face, he has wings, he has feet, he has dreams and ambitions of his own. If you watched our previous video, you'll recall a section in which we discussed how you as a carver will realize your work. It is now time to put that into practice. Add shapes, add colour, add texture in whatever fashion pleases you the most. Dust Monkey seems to be taking the route of adding texture with the chainsaw, blatantly ignoring my orders that sanding by hand is the only way to achieve an owl-esque finish. I really can't get over the quality of the camera, and considering how carefully it is perched on Dust Monkey's frontal lobe, really, one sneeze is all it would take to catapult this expensive piece of kit into a nearby tree, smashing it, as well as my dream of releasing instructional videos, into 1,000 tiny fragments. And there you have it. Whatever route you have chosen, be it smooth or be it textured, be it painted or unpainted, these are the basic steps to making an owl. Don't worry if your owl looks nothing like Dust Monkey's. Don't worry if your owl looks nothing like an owl. The techniques I have shown you are good, quick exercises, and with practice and your own adaptation, you'll soon be carving out your own style. Booyakasha, camera, disengage.
Well, that's all we've got time for, I'm afraid. Remember to practice what you've learned and join us next time for another edition of How to Chainsaw Woodcarve. I've been Hieronymus Hogsap. He's been Dust Monkey. Thank you and goodbye.